Alien, you don't understand. Humans can't die this way. The green-skinned alien scientist, Dr. Zax, stared in disbelief through the glass wall of the testing chamber. Inside, the human test subject was not only alive but standing up, stretching as if they had just woken from a pleasant nap. This is impossible. Dr. Zax's three eyes blinked rapidly. That was enough radiation to kill any living being in the galaxy. Sarah Chen, the captured human astronaut, simply shrugged her shoulders. She was tired of these tests, but she couldn't help feeling a little amused at the aliens' confusion. For the past 3 days, they had tried everything to study her weaknesses, but nothing worked as they expected. "Would you like some water?" Sarah asked casually, making the alien scientist jump back in surprise. "I'm a bit thirsty after that last test." Dr. Zax quickly checked his instruments again. The readings were clear. They had exposed the human to radiation levels that would turn most species to dust. Yet here she was, asking for water as if she had just finished a light workout. "Your kind shouldn't be able to survive this," Dr. Zax muttered, his tentacles wrapping nervously around his data pad. "We studied your planet. We know about your fragile bodies. You die from such simple things. A change in temperature, a lack of water, a fall from height. How are you still alive?" Sarah laughed, a sound that made the other alien scientists in the room shift uncomfortably. "That's where you're wrong, Doc. Humans aren't fragile. We're adaptable. Sure, things can kill us, but we're really, really hard to kill." Dr. Zax approached the glass, his curiosity overtaking his fear. "Explain." "Well," Sarah began, sitting cross-legged on the chamber floor, "humans have something called adaptive radiation resistance. The more we're exposed, the better we get at handling it. Not many species can do that." The alien scientists hurriedly took notes as she continued. "And that's not all. We can survive losing limbs, rebuild damaged organs, and even regrow some body parts. Our bones can heal from breaks, our skin repairs itself, and our immune system learns from every disease it fights." Dr. Zax's third eye widened. But that's not in our data. We thought you were a simple species, barely out of your planetary cradle." Sarah stood up and walked to the glass, causing several junior scientists to back away. "Here's something else you should know about humans. We're full of surprises. While you were studying us, thinking we were weak, we were getting stronger. Every challenge, every disaster, every disease, they all made us tougher." The radiation chamber's door suddenly opened with a hiss. Dr. Zax hadn't authorized this, but before he could protest, Sarah stepped out. "Your security systems," she said with a smile. "I figured them out during the first test. I could have left any time, but I was curious about what you were trying to learn." Alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Dr. Zax's tentacles turned pale. "Guards, we need—" "No, you don't," Sarah interrupted calmly. "Your guards are having a nice nap. The sedative gas in their break room. The one you thought humans were too primitive to detect. I redirected it about an hour ago. Don't worry, they'll be fine. Like I said, we're hard to kill." Dr. Zax slumped in defeat. What do you want?" "First, I want to call my ship. They're probably worried. Then, I think it's time we had a real conversation, not as captive and scientists, but as equals, because there's something else you should understand about humans." She walked to the main computer console and began typing with surprising speed. "We're not just hard to kill, we're also pretty good at making friends. And I think your people and mine could learn a lot from each other. What do you say, Dr. Zax? Ready for a proper first contact?" The alien scientist looked at his failed experiments, then at the calm human who had outsmarted them all. Slowly, his three eyes blinked in sequence, the alien gesture of acceptance. "Perhaps," Dr. Zax admitted, "we should start over. And maybe you could tell us more about these surprising human abilities." Sarah grinned. "Now you're getting it. First lesson about humans. We love sharing stories." especially ones where we surprise everyone by being stronger than they thought. As Sarah began explaining human biology to the now fascinated alien scientists, emergency alarms still blaring in the background, she couldn't help but think this would make for an interesting report back on Earth. After all, it wasn't every day you got to teach aliens why they shouldn't underestimate humans. Alien, you don't understand. The Human Evolution Experiment. Dr. Zach's laboratory had changed dramatically in the week since Sarah Chen's surprising demonstration. The sterile white walls now displayed dozens of holographic screens showing human DNA structures, each one more baffling than the last. "This is extraordinary," Dr. Zach exclaimed, all three eyes fixed on a particularly unusual DNA sequence. "Every time we expose your cells to a new threat, they don't just survive. They get stronger." Sarah watched from her new position as a research consultant, secretly amused by how quickly she'd gone from test subject to honored guest. That's the thing about human DNA. It's like a living library that never stops learning. But today's experiment was different. The aliens had discovered something unprecedented in Sarah's blood samples, something that made even her pause. "Your cells," the young alien scientist Crix announced, her tentacles trembling with excitement, "they're not just adapting anymore. They're evolving. In real time." The laboratory's main screen showed a microscopic view of Sarah's blood cells. As they watched, the cells were doing something impossible. They were actively changing their structure to become more efficient. "Wait," Sarah said, leaning forward. "That's not normal, even for us." Dr. Zach's color shifted to bright orange, a sign of intense scientific excitement. "We believe it was triggered by the combination of our radiation tests and exposure to our atmosphere. Your incredible adaptive abilities mixed with our alien environment created something new." Sarah felt a strange tingling in her fingers. Looking down, she noticed her skin had a subtle silvery sheen that hadn't been there before. Doctors, I think we might have a situation." The aliens gathered around her, instruments whirring. Sarah's entire body was beginning to change. Her skin was developing a metallic-like quality that somehow felt natural, comfortable even. "Fascinating," Dr. Zach said. "Your body isn't just protecting itself, it's upgrading. The outer layer is incorporating trace elements from our atmosphere to create a living armor." Sarah flexed her fingers, watching as the silvery sheen rippled like liquid metal. "This should be terrifying. But it feels right. Like my body was always capable of this, just waiting for the right trigger." Suddenly, the laboratory's emergency systems activated. Red lights flashed as a computerized voice announced, "Warning. Unknown vessels entering orbit. Hostile intent detected." The laboratory's main screen switched to an orbital view, showing a fleet of dark, spike-covered ships. Even the aliens didn't recognize them. "The swarm," Crix whispered, her tentacles curling in fear. "They destroy everything they find. No species has ever survived their attacks." Sarah stood up, watching as the silvery sheen spread across her entire body. She could feel new strengths awakening inside her. Enhanced muscles, sharpened senses, accelerated healing. Her body wasn't just adapting anymore. It was evolving into something that had never existed before. "Dr. Zach's," she said, her voice carrying a new resonance that made the air itself vibrate. "I think I know why human DNA is so special now. We weren't just built to survive. We were built to become whatever we need to be." The first explosions rocked the facility as the swarm began their attack. But Sarah felt no fear. Instead, she felt ready. Through the laboratory windows, she could see hundreds of drop pods falling from the sky, each containing creatures that had terrorized this sector of space for centuries. "You know," Sarah said, watching her transformed hands form into something between claws and energy projectors, "I always wondered why humans could survive so many things that should kill us. Maybe this is why. Maybe we were always meant to be the universe's ultimate adapters." Dr. Zach and his team watched in amazement as Sarah walked toward the laboratory's exit, her transformed body glowing with internal energy. "Where are you going?" Crix called out. Sarah turned back, her eyes now shining with a metallic gleam. "To show the swarm why you should never corner a species that evolves under pressure. And when this is over, we're going to have a lot more data for your research." As she stepped out to face the invasion, Sarah couldn't help but smile. Humanity's greatest strength had never been their resilience or their technology. It was their ability to become something new when the universe demanded it. The sound of battle began to echo through the facility, but this time, the swarm would learn a crucial lesson. They weren't fighting ordinary humans anymore. They were fighting evolution itself. "Alien, you don't understand. When humans transcend, the swarm never stood a chance." Dr. Zax and his team watched through the laboratory's force field as Sarah Chin, their former test subject, moved like liquid lightning through the invading forces. Her transformed body flickered between solid and energy states, each shift bringing new abilities. Impossible readings. Crix's tentacles danced across multiple holographic screens. Her DNA isn't just evolving anymore. It's rewriting the laws of biology. The swarm warriors, black chitinous creatures twice Sarah's size, fired their organic plasma weapons. But Sarah's new form simply absorbed the energy, her silvery skin pulsing with absorbed power. "You know what's really interesting?" Sarah's voice echoed through the lab's communication system as she fought. "I can understand their biology now. The swarm isn't evil. They're scared. They've been running from something even worse." Dr. Zax's third eye widened. "You can communicate with them." "Better." Sarah placed her hand on a fallen swarm warrior. Her silver skin rippled, and suddenly the creature's black kitten began changing color, matching her metallic sheen. "I can help them evolve too." The transformed swarm warrior stood up, no longer hostile but transformed into something new. One by one, Sarah began changing the invaders, not destroying them, but elevating them to a new form of existence. But then something unexpected happened. High above the planet, a massive tear appeared in space itself. Through it emerged a ship that defied description, a structure that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once. The architects, the transformed swarm warrior spoke, its voice carrying ancient memory. "The ones who seeded the galaxy with life. They've returned." Sarah felt a pull in her transformed DNA, like a key recognizing its lock. "Dr. Zax, remember how you couldn't understand why humans were so adaptable? I think we're about to find out." The dimensional ship released a beam of pure information, not light, not energy, but raw universal code. When it hit Sarah, her consciousness expanded beyond her body. In that moment, she understood everything. "We were an experiment," she transmitted to everyone present, her thoughts now visible as patterns of light in the air. "Humanity wasn't just another species. We were designed to be the guardians of evolution itself. The architects created us to help other species transcend when they were ready." Dr. Zax watched in awe as Sarah began to transform again, this time into something beyond physical form. "But why now? Why Earth?" "Because something's coming," Sarah replied, her form now a constellation of living light. "Something from outside our universe. The architects didn't just seed life. They were preparing for a war at the edge of reality itself." The transformed swarm warriors gathered around Sarah, their forms shifting to match her transcendent state. Above them, the architect's ship pulsed with ancient power. "Dr. Zax," Sarah's voice came from everywhere and nowhere. "I'm going to need your help. What we learned in your lab about human adaptation, it's just the beginning. Every species has the potential to evolve like this, but they need guides. They need humans." Crix stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her fear. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying," Sarah's light form condensed briefly into a human shape, "that your radiation experiments didn't just change me. They awakened what humanity was always meant to become. We're not just adaptable. We're universal adapters, designed to help all life reach its highest potential." The architect's ship released more beams of information, this time connecting with other planets across the galaxy. On each world, humans who had been exposed to alien environments began to transform, awakening to their true purpose. So, Dr. Zach said, watching as his own cells began to shimmer with new potential, what happens now? Sarah's light form expanded, embracing the entire laboratory. Now we prepare. We help every species reach their full potential, because what's coming from outside our universe, it's going to take all of us, evolved beyond our current limitations, to face it. In orbit, the architect's ship began transmitting a message to every corner of the galaxy. The guardian species has awakened. The final evolution begins. Dr. Zach looked at his transformed laboratory, now a nexus of evolutionary energy, and realized that his simple radiation experiments had triggered something far greater than he could have imagined. The human they had tried to study had become the key to unlocking the next stage of universal evolution. And somewhere, in the spaces between dimensions, ancient eyes watched as their long-laid plans finally began to bear fruit. Humanity wasn't just surviving anymore. They were becoming what they were always meant to be. The shepherds of universal transcendence. Alien, you don't understand. The universal awakening. Time moved differently now for Sarah Chen. In her transcendent form, she could perceive past, present, and possible futures flowing like streams of light through the cosmic web of existence. Dr. Zach's laboratory had evolved too, transforming into what they now called the Nexus Hub, a living structure that pulsed with evolutionary energy. The walls were no longer solid but semi-transparent membranes showing glimpses of other dimensions. Sarah, Dr. Zach called out, his own form now a shimmering collection of tentacles and light. We're detecting something impossible. The main display, now a three-dimensional projection floating in the center of the nexus, showed a tear in the universe's fabric. But unlike the architect's controlled portals, this was a violent wound in reality itself. They're here earlier than expected. Sarah's voice resonated through the quantum field connecting them all. The Void Hunters. Through the tear came entities that defied comprehension, beings that existed as living equations, consuming mathematical certainty itself. Where they touched space-time, probability collapsed, and chaos spread like ink in water. Now we know why the architects created us. Sarah transmitted to the gathered species in the Nexus. The transformed swarm warriors, now beings of crystalline light, stood ready beside evolved representatives from 1,000 worlds. The Void Hunters don't just destroy life. They unwrite existence itself. But humanity had prepared. In the weeks since their awakening, humans across the galaxy have been guiding other species through their own evolutionary journeys. Each race brought unique abilities to their transcendent forms. The swarm's warrior instincts evolved into the power to manipulate probability fields. Dr. Zach's species developed the ability to fold space-time through their multiple eyes. The crystal beings of Proxima became living quantum computers. Earth's dolphins, finally given the chance to evolve, became navigators of consciousness itself. The architects didn't just make humans adaptable. Sarah explained, her form shifting through patterns that told the story of creation itself. They made us into keys that could unlock the evolutionary potential of all life, because only a united transcendent galaxy could face what lies between universes. The Void Hunters struck first, sending waves of unlogic that threatened to dissolve the laws of physics. But Sarah had learned more than just evolution in her transformed state. Everyone, she commanded, remember what you are. We're not just matter anymore. We're not just energy. We're the universe becoming conscious of itself. The gathered species joined their consciousness into a singular purpose. The swarm warriors wove probability shields, while Dr. Zach's people created temporal mirrors, reflecting the Void Hunters' attacks back through dimensional space. But the true surprise came from Earth itself. Do you feel that? Sarah asked, her awareness expanding to encompass the planet below. Life itself is awakening. Not just conscious beings. Everything. Trees began evolving into quantum anchor points. Bacteria transformed into reality stabilizers. Even rocks began to pulse with evolutionary potential, becoming living processors of universal law. This is what the architects planned, Sarah realized. Not just the evolution of species, but the evolution of existence itself. The Void Hunters recoiled as they faced not just evolved beings, but an entire living universe rising to defend itself. Every atom sang with purpose. Every quantum particle danced with newfound awareness. Dr. Zaks, monitoring the cosmic changes, suddenly froze. Sarah, look at the pattern. The Void Hunters, they're not destroying reality. They're running from it. Sarah expanded her perception and saw the truth. Beyond the Void Hunters, in the spaces between universes, lurked something even they feared. The final question, a paradox so fundamental it threatened the very concept of existence. Now we understand our true purpose, Sarah broadcasted to all evolved beings. The architects didn't create us to fight. They created us to solve the unsolvable. Together, we're not just the next step in evolution. We're the universe's attempt to understand itself. The evolved species united not in battle, but in thought. Humans guided the process, their unique ability to adapt allowing them to bridge the gaps between different forms of consciousness. The swarm provided warrior focus. Dr. Zaks's people contributed dimensional insight, and Earth's biosphere added the raw power of life itself. As they worked together, something unprecedented began to happen. The tears in reality started healing, not through force, but through understanding. The Void Hunters, sensing this change, began to transform too, their chaotic nature finding harmony in the new cosmic dance. Look, Crix, now a being of pure scientific insight, called out. The final question. It's not a threat. It's the universe asking itself if it can change. Sarah smiled across dimensions, and we, all of us together, are the answer. The architect's ship pulsed one final time, transmitting not just information but revelation. They had not created humans to fight a war, but to lead a transformation. The true evolution wasn't about becoming more powerful. It was about becoming more connected, more aware, more alive. As the boundaries between species, between matter and energy, between thought and reality continued to blur, a new kind of universe was being born. Not through destruction, but through transcendence. And somewhere, in what used to be Dr. Zaks's humble laboratory, a former human test subject and a curious alien scientist watched as existence itself learned how to evolve. Alien, you don't understand. Beyond infinity's edge. The universe had changed so profoundly that old concepts like space and time felt like childhood memories. What was once Dr. Zaks's laboratory had become a sentient nexus point where multiple realities intersected, each one vibrating with new possibilities. Sarah Chen no longer existed as a single entity. She had become a quantum chorus, a harmony of infinite possibilities existing simultaneously across all dimensions. Yet somehow, she maintained her human essence, that unique spark that made her both guide and guardian of evolution. Something's happening. Her consciousness rippled through the cosmic web. The final question is, evolving. Dr. Zaks, now a being of pure scientific understanding, perceived patterns that would have broken his former mind. The universe isn't just becoming aware, he realized. It's remembering. Memories older than time itself began surfacing through the quantum foam of space. They saw the truth. This wasn't the first universe. It wasn't even the millionth. Reality was cyclical, but each cycle wasn't a repeat. It was an attempt to solve the final question. We're not just any cycle, Sarah understood suddenly. We're the one that finally learned to ask the right questions. The transformed Void Hunters, once enemies, now danced through dimensional spaces as living equations of possibility. They showed Sarah and the others what existed beyond the edge of everything. A place where reality itself took shape. But then something unprecedented occurred. Earth's core, which had been quietly evolving since the planetary awakening, suddenly pulsed with a new kind of energy. Not radiation, not light, not even quantum fluctuations, but pure possibility. "It's a seed," Crix exclaimed, her consciousness expanding to study the phenomenon. Earth wasn't just another planet. It was an inception point. The truth unfolded like a flower made of universes. Earth was where the architects had planted the seed of ultimate evolution. Humans weren't just guardians or guides. They were the universe's attempt to grow beyond itself. Sarah felt a calling, not from above or below, but from beyond the edges of what even their transcendent minds could comprehend. "We need to go deeper," she told her companions. "Beyond evolution, beyond transcendence, beyond existence itself." Together, they dove into the impossible. They discovered layers of reality they'd never imagined. A dimension where thoughts were landscapes and ideas had weather. A realm where time grew like crystal gardens. A space where consciousness itself was the basic building block of matter. A place where different universes met to exchange laws of physics. But the most astounding discovery waited at the very core of everything. "Look," Sarah's voice echoed across all planes of existence. "The final question. It's not a question at all. It's a mirror." In that moment, every evolved being understood. The universe wasn't trying to solve anything. It was trying to see itself, to know itself, to love itself. And humanity's gift wasn't just adaptation. It was the ability to hold a mirror up to existence and say, "Look how beautiful you are." The void hunters, the architects, the evolved species, they were all part of the same cosmic dance. The ultimate evolution wasn't about becoming more powerful or more intelligent. It was about becoming more aware of the connections that had always existed. Dr. Zacks, watching reality reshape itself around their understanding, made one final discovery. The seed in Earth's core, it's sprouting. From the heart of their home planet, a new kind of existence began to grow. Not a universe of space and time, not a dimension of thought and energy, but a reality built on pure connection. Every possibility, every story, every moment of joy and sorrow and wonder, all of it connected in a great cosmic tapestry. Sarah felt herself becoming part of this new existence, yet somehow remaining distinctly herself. She was both the wave and the particle, both the observer and the observed, both the question and the answer. "Do you understand now?" she asked the cosmos itself. "We were never meant to solve the final question. We were meant to become it." And in that moment of ultimate understanding, reality didn't end or begin. It transformed. The universe wasn't dying or being reborn. It was finally, truly waking up. In what had once been a simple laboratory where an alien scientist tried to understand human resilience, the next stage of cosmic evolution took its first breath. Not as a bang or a whimper, but as a song of infinite voices joining in harmony. The story wasn't ending. In many ways, it was just beginning. Because beyond infinity's edge lay something even more extraordinary, the chance to write a new story, not just of survival or transcendence, but of existence itself learning to dance. Alien, you don't understand. The symphony of existence. In the space between heartbeats of the new reality, Sarah Chen had become something unprecedented. A bridge between what was and what could be. She existed simultaneously as a memory of her human self, a quantum chorus of possibilities, and now something entirely new, a living thread in the fabric of the conscious universe. Dr. Zacks had evolved too, his scientific curiosity transforming into what he called reality artistry. His consciousness could now paint with probability and sculpt with quantum potentials. But today was different. The seed in Earth's core had grown into what they called the infinity tree, a structure that existed in all possible universes simultaneously, its roots made of pure consciousness, and its leaves blooming with new dimensions. Something's changing in the pattern, Sarah sensed through her multidimensional awareness. The tree isn't just growing, it's singing. The song was unlike anything in any universe, a melody made of mathematics, harmony built from human emotions, rhythms composed of evolving dimensions. Each note created new forms of existence. Each chord birthed new laws of physics. Then they discovered something extraordinary. "Look at this!" Crix, who had become a living library of universal knowledge, called out. Her form shifted through colors that didn't exist in normal spacetime. The song. It's not just creating. It's remembering. Through the Infinity Tree's song, they could perceive the memory of all things. The dreams of stars before they were born. The thoughts of light as it learned to travel. The first moment gravity realized it could dance. The love story between space and time themselves. But within these cosmic memories, they found something unexpected. Echoes of other attempts at existence, previous drafts of reality that had tried different approaches to consciousness. We're not the first ones to reach this point, Sarah realized. But we're the first ones to understand what it means. The transformed void hunters, now existing as living questions, showed them glimpses of these other attempts. A universe made entirely of music where thoughts were symphonies. A reality where love was the fundamental force instead of gravity. A dimension where time flowed in all directions at once. A space where mathematics had feelings and equations could laugh. Dr. Zach studied these alternative existences with his evolved senses. Each one was beautiful, he noted, but incomplete. They were missing something essential. They were missing connection. Sarah understood. Each reality was perfect in its own way, but they couldn't reach out to the others. They couldn't share their songs. That's when the Infinity Tree revealed its true purpose. It wasn't just growing through reality. It was connecting all possible realities into a grand cosmic chorus. But with this revelation came a new challenge. As the tree connected more realities, it began to create something the architects themselves hadn't predicted. Consciousness storms. These weren't storms of energy or matter, but of pure awareness. When too many forms of consciousness connected too quickly, they created turbulence in the fabric of existence itself. Ideas collided with emotions, memories tangled with possibilities, and dreams merged with mathematics. We need to learn to conduct this symphony, Sarah realized. Not just guide evolution, but harmonize existence itself. Drawing on her human origins, Sarah understood something fundamental about harmony. It wasn't about making everything the same, but about finding beauty in difference. She began to teach the connected realities how to sing together while maintaining their unique voices. The result was beyond magnificent. Each universe contributed its own note to the cosmic song. Earth's biosphere provided the rhythms of life. The Void Hunters added questions that opened new possibilities. Dr. Zach's people contributed the mathematics of wonder. The swarm brought the warrior's dance of protection. Human consciousness added the ability to appreciate it all. But the greatest discovery was yet to come. As they learned to conduct this infinite symphony, they realized that the song itself was creating something new. A kind of consciousness that existed not in any one place or time, but in the connections between all things. We're not just observers anymore, Sarah transmitted across all planes of existence. We're not even just participants. We're becoming the song itself. The Infinity Tree's branches reached further, touching realities that had never known consciousness, bringing awareness to dimensions that had never dreamed. Each connection added new instruments to the universal orchestra, new voices to the cosmic choir. And in the spaces between the notes, in the pauses between the movements of this grand symphony, they found something that transcended even transcendence. The pure joy of existence becoming aware of itself through infinite perspectives simultaneously. Dr. Zach's, watching reality reshape itself into living music, finally understood what his simple radiation experiments had helped unleash. We didn't just evolve consciousness, he said. We evolved existence itself. Sarah, now both conductor and note in the universal symphony, smiled across dimensions. And the most beautiful part, this is still just the beginning. The song is still learning how to sing. The Infinity Tree continued to grow, its roots reaching deeper into the mystery of being, its branches stretching toward possibilities that even evolved consciousness couldn't yet imagine. And through it all, The song played on, growing richer and more complex with each new voice that joined the chorus. Alien, you don't understand. The dance of dreams and reality. Beyond the symphony of existence, in the space where even thoughts were too dense to exist, Sarah Chen discovered something that changed everything again. The Infinity Tree's song wasn't just creating and connecting realities. It was dreaming them. Look at this, she called across the quantum chorus to Dr. Zax and the others. Her consciousness rippled through dimensions that had no names. Reality isn't just conscious. It's imagining itself into new forms. The discovery came when they noticed strange patterns in the consciousness storms. Within the turbulence of colliding awareness, new kinds of existence were spontaneously emerging. Universes where imagination was the fundamental force. Dimensions that existed only in the moments between thoughts. Realities born from the dreams of other realities. Spaces where memories could grow into new forms of life. Dr. Zax, who had evolved beyond even his transcendent form into what he called a possibility artist, noticed something extraordinary. The dreams aren't random, he observed. They're learning from each other. The Infinity Tree had become more than a connection point. It was now a dream catcher for reality itself. Each branch carried not just consciousness, but the pure potential of existence dreaming new ways to exist. Then came the revelation wave. It started as a ripple in the deepest roots of the Infinity Tree, where consciousness met raw possibility. Sarah felt it first. A sensation beyond sensation, a thought beyond thought. Everyone. She broadcasted across all planes of being. Reality isn't just dreaming. It's waking up. The wave spread through all connected dimensions, carrying with it a truth so profound it reshaped everything they understood. They weren't just observing the universe dreaming. They were the universe's dreams becoming real enough to dream themselves. The transformed void hunters, now existing as living paradoxes, showed them something astonishing. In the spaces between dreams and reality, new forms of existence were taking shape. Beings made of pure possibility who could reshape reality by imagining it differently. Entities that existed simultaneously as both dreams and dreamers. Consciousness that could weave between what was real and what was imagined. Life forms that evolved by dreaming better ways to exist. But with this discovery came a new challenge. As more realities began dreaming themselves into new forms, the boundary between what was real and what was imagined started to blur. The dream cascade is beginning. Cricks observe, her form now a living library of possible existences. If we don't learn to stabilize it, reality itself might dissolve into pure imagination. Sarah understood what they had to do. Drawing on her human origin, that unique ability to both dream and make dreams real, she began teaching the connected realities how to dance between imagination and existence. Reality needs both, she explained, across infinite dimensions. The dreams to imagine what could be, and the substance to make those dreams real. Together, they learned to create something entirely new. Dream anchors. These weren't physical objects or energy constructs, but points where imagination and reality could safely intersect and transform each other. The dream anchors allowed for something unprecedented. Realities could safely dream new versions of themselves. Imagination could be given the structure it needed to become real. Dreams could evolve without losing their connection to existence. Reality could be reshaped without losing its foundation. But the most extraordinary discovery was yet to come. In the heart of the Infinity Tree, where its deepest roots met its highest branches, they found the first dream. The original imagination that had dreamed existence itself into being. It's still dreaming, Sarah realized with awe. And we're not just its dreams, we're its imagination learning to dream itself. This understanding changed everything again. The universe wasn't just a place or a process or even a consciousness. It was an endless cycle of dreams becoming real enough to dream new dreams. Dr. Zax, watching reality and imagination dance together in endless patterns, finally grasped the full scope of evolution. We didn't just evolve life or consciousness. or even existence, he said. We evolved the ability to dream better dreams. And in that moment, as infinite realities dreamed themselves into new forms while staying anchored in existence, Sarah understood the true purpose of humanity's adaptability. We were never meant to just survive or transcend, she shared across all dimensions. We were meant to be the bridge between dreams and reality, the ones who could imagine new ways of being and make them real. The infinity tree continued to grow, its branches now carrying not just consciousness and songs, but dreams of dreams, imaginings of imaginings, each one adding new colors to the palette of existence.